Welcome back, number one podcast listeners, to another edition of Prem Brulee. I'm your host, Premal, and today I'm really proud to be joined by my friend since the school days at Sells Middle School in Dublin, Ohio, former five-star recruit, the Ohio State University's own offensive tackle, first team Big Ten, 56th overall pick in the 2012 NFL Draft, 5-year NFL veteran with the Steelers and Bears, Mike Adams. Thanks for joining me, my guy.
Oh, man, appreciate it. That's a heck of an intro, man. I appreciate that.
I tried to do it justice. I had to lead with our middle school days.
Oh, you got to. SMS, baby. Go Rocks.
Yes, sir. And you already know the bond runs deep. It goes way back to when Mike and I were the slowest kids on the middle school basketball team, so don't ever get it twisted.
100% slow, chubby, all the above, but we got it done.
Hopefully the glow up's real. At least I'm married, so I don't need the glow up, but the glow up's real for Mike. Just trust me.
The glow up is crazy for both of us, man.
Yes, sir. All right, well, let's get started. So we lead every episode with Yeah, Fam, or Nah. It's our time to discuss some headlines, and Mike, I want to get your thoughts on it. So first up, I kind of catered these to you with your history. NFL Combine. Before I get your takes on everything, Yeah, Fam, or Nah, to the Redskins bringing in Joe Burrow and Tua for interviews despite having Buckeyes' very own Dwayne Haskins on their roster just last year. What are your thoughts on that, Mike? You've probably been through it. Team looking at a position that's your own. What are your thoughts on it?
I mean, it's kind of just the reality of what it is in the NFL, man. You're looking for instant results, and if things are kind of up in the air, they're going to bring someone in. You just got to be ready to compete. You can't really get caught up in it. You just got to come to work every day, put your best foot forward, and just really try to keep getting better.
That's such an athlete response, but me as a pure fan, it's like they're doing this guy dirty. They didn't put anything in terms of protection in front of my guy, and I feel like he balled out at the second part of the season. So I hate to see it. Maybe it seems like it's lying season right now, so who knows if it'll actually happen. But I'm personally a nah, but I get that mentality.
I personally, I think, for Dwayne Haskins to be in a position like that where he probably needed to sit a year behind a good veteran quarterback and actually be able to mature. I mean, because he only started how many games at Ohio State, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, I mean, I'm a big fan of taking a rookie quarterback, letting him sit, learn behind a really good vet. And if you don't get the chance to do that, it's really easy to kill a guy's confidence early. So I honestly think that in Dwayne Haskins' best interest, I mean, a lot of times they're not just going to let a guy that they're paying that much sit on their roster. So if he ended up in another team, it could be the best thing for him. You know what I mean? You let him go somewhere if they get rid of Teddy Bridgewater down there in New Orleans, let him go somewhere like New Orleans, sit behind a guy like Drew Brees or something like that. I think his potential is bright, but like you said, they got nothing to protect the guy, and I really would hate to see him get set up for failure.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of times it's just so much about the situation you're in, and he got put in it was reportedly an ownership pick and not the former coach now. So I hope for his sake the situation with Ron Rivera is a little better and they actually do give him a chance. But I guess time will tell. I like your idea in New Orleans to learn behind Breeze. All right, so everybody knows my thoughts on what I call the underwear Olympics, but we want to hear from someone who's been through it. So I thought it would be cool to, maybe it's not cool to go down memory lane, but here are Mike's numbers. Mike, you probably didn't think you'd hear these again, huh?
Oh, man, probably not.
Maybe I'll dub these in after, but I gotta, I'm a man of the people, so what good would I be if I backed down from a friend like this?
Yeah, what do we got? All
right, so your 40 was a 5.28, pretty good for a big guy. 10-yard split, 183. 20-yard split, 3.08. Bench press, 19 reps.
21 at Pro Day.
21 at Pro Day. Okay, important designation here. Vert was at 28.5. Broad jump 8'4". That's pretty nice. And a 3-cone is 7.94. Hand size, we love that. We love that this time of year. 10 3/4. Don't sell my guy short. And this all at 6'7 1/4 at 323. But you way fit now.
Oh man.
I mean, if you number one podcast listeners, if you have no idea, just go see my guy's page. This man is a yoga teacher in full-fledged. You would have never... It's like a different person you're looking at.
Oh, man, yeah. It is a different person. It's like a lifetime ago. I couldn't imagine still being that large. And, you know, when I hear those numbers, like you said, those aren't too shabby of numbers, especially at the size I was at. But I really just, I'm in awe every time when I watch the combine and I see those big guys moving and running, jumping. It's just a really, really underrated thing that a lot of people don't appreciate in sports is the athleticism of these offensive linemen. I think I saw what they do on the combine.
Mekhi Becton, the dude from Louisville, ran a 5'1" at...
360 pounds.
Yeah,
he's huge. I mean, like, it's unbelievable. They had, I think they had a female football player who's like a really good track athlete and one of like a celebrity trainer who trains like Kevin Hart and a bunch of those guys. They had them run the 40 and do the whole combine, and like they both failed to run below 5'2", I think, and like this guy's like one of the most fit people you'll see on Instagram on anything. He's like, you know, 6 foot, 195 pounds. You know what I mean? I'm like,
damn.
I'm like, yeah, I mean, like, I was 325 pounds, still faster than 90% of people out here.
That's nuts. Like the regular, like I'd probably run like a 7'8" or some shit.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. Like you see Mike Mayock when he runs it every year. You know what I mean? He runs like some crazy.
Oh, Rich Eisen, yeah.
Rich Eisen. You see him run some like crazy slow time, and it's like, damn, man, that's what a lot of these guys would run.
So I wanted to ask you, are you a fam or not to the combine in general? Or like, are you a fan of it? Does it tell us anything from your perspective? Do you wish it wasn't a thing? What are your thoughts?
I would tell you this: if I had a son who had the opportunity to go to the combine, I would tell him to do the Chase Young and go and do interviews. But I don't like the combine, and I understand what it's for. I mean, it's a lot of stuff that the fans wouldn't really get, but it's really just to set you up and have a lot of things go wrong and see how you perform. Like they're waking guys up at 4 a.m. They're standing in the lobby of the hotel blowing an air horn like every hour throughout the night, you know, just to like make sure you don't get great sleep, you know, things like that. You know, like for me, the combine was pretty wild. I had interviews with almost every team. I had crazy amounts of testing with team psychologists, doctors. You know, you get poked and prodded, and it's honestly like when you think about it, and this is a crazy parallel to draw. I know that, but it's like, you know, people were like up on the auction block at the combine. Like it's like,
oh, I've heard. You're not the first person to say that.
It's like straight up makes you feel like you're in the slave trade, and like guys are backstage joking about it. You know what I mean? Like, and like it's crazy. Like you're in your underwear, no socks allowed. There's a room full of, you know, a couple hundred people with notebooks. It's dead silent, and they pull you out one at a time, put you on stage, measure you every which way on stage in your underwear with all these people looking at you, taking notes, and then walk you down the middle aisle so people can get a closer look at you. And then, you know,
holy crap.
You know, I mean, and then you go to the highest bidder in the draft. I mean, it's pretty.
Exactly. I was just gonna say they put a value on you then.
Yeah, I mean, it's absolutely nuts, and just like the whole way that they do it, like, you know, you take a group of 20 guys at a time and you have them lined up in the back hallway in their underwear, and guys are so hyped up, they're back there doing push-ups and stuff, wanting to look good, you know what I mean? And
right.
It's like, it's incredible, but you know, it is what it is, and it's a game where people are the tools, and you know, you have to get a good judgment on that. But I think it's pretty wild. I had a good experience there. I mean, I enjoyed my time there. It was definitely a lifelong dream to participate and compete, and I lived that out.
Right.
I really enjoyed the interview process, and getting to know people from different teams, and just having the opportunity to be exposed to so many teams at one time. So yeah, I mean, I would. If I had a kid, I'd tell him, go do the interviews and then just do everything else at your pro day, where it's not
right
set
in a place that's more comfortable.
Yeah, well, not even more comfortable, but it's an environment that's set up for you to succeed. You know what I mean? Like, you're at home, they're making sure you get your adequate rest. You're not being rushed all over the place or held up doing interviews until 1 a.m. the night before, when you have to get up and do a bench press at 6 a.m. or something crazy like that. You know what I mean? So it's just it is what it is, but I'm not all for it.
All right. Okay. Next topic I wanted to get from you. The NFL Players Association and the owners are going through a CBA negotiations. I talked about it on the last episode with my guest last week, but I wanted to get your thoughts as more information's come out. Just a little recap for number one podcast listeners. We got talks of a 14-team playoff, so add an extra team in each conference. And the main part that everyone's talking about is a 17-game season. Since then, there have been a little bit of tweaks to it. That we already knew the 17 games would start in 2021, but the 2 extra playoff teams would start immediately. They agreed on a revenue share increase from 47% to 48.5%, and that would be if the 17 games are approved. And the roster would expand from 53 to 55 and would allow 48 players to dress for games. Currently, it's at 46. And then practice squads would go from 10 to 12 players and eventually to 14, probably by 2022. And most importantly, the owners agreed to eliminate the $250,000 cap on earnings for that extra game. And also very important is that this was already established, but it would increase the minimum salary for those guys that make up the majority of the league that play at the league minimum. So right now, I think it's close to the point where all players will be voting on it. So with all that being said, some high-profile players, Richard Sherman's, J.J. Watts, Pouncey Twins, Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson have all come out against it. Some are more for it. Those that don't have as big of a following are for it. But yeah, fam or not, Mike, if you're still a player, what are your thoughts on this proposed CBA? What you a yeah fam, nah to it? How would you have voted?
I'm a hell nah to that, man. I think it's the league. This has nothing to do with anything being good for the players. This is the league making more money, owners making more money. They put out this whole narrative that it's like will help the young guys so much, but in the reality of it, it really doesn't do much for the young guys. It barely ups the minimum, and it adds a whole lot more than it takes away a whole lot more from them than it adds. I mean, you're talking about a whole nother game, more playoff teams. There's nothing wrong with what's the league as it is. There's nothing wrong with the playoff system as it is. Not one player wants to play another game. Like 16 games is already so many, and 4 preseason games. Like, what that does to your body, like, the general public would never be able to understand. But like, nobody wants that.
So part of what they've talked about, Mike, is that with the 17 games, they'd go down in preseason games. That doesn't make it right or wrong. I'm just saying. And then
and these guys who they're talking about, like, aren't for it because they make a lot of money. These guys are the voices of the league. These guys are the ones who have the opinion.
Right.
Whose opinion really matters and really makes a statement for everyone in the league. There's no young guy, like, another game isn't worth isn't worth it. It's not like the amount of injuries, all those things. And then they try to throw the weed thing out there because they know it's like a sexy, popular issue amongst players, because we're like the only sport that still tests for it.
Yeah, that's about fucking type deal. Like, I don't consider that a pro, but it's like, okay, why was it not there before?
Yeah, I mean, it's like, it's a thing because everyone in the NFL smokes weed, and a lot of coaches, you know what I mean? Like, everyone.
Right.
And, I mean, you get one test a year, you know when it is, it's in April or August, you don't smoke for a couple months, and then you're good. And it's like they use that as a bargaining chip and hold that over your head because they know that. And it's just like if you really see it for what it is, it's just the owners are greedy. They want to make more money. They want to sell more memorabilia. They want, you know what I mean? It's just, I don't know, nothing. I don't really see how any part of it's in the best interest of the players.
You heard it there. Number one podcast listener from a former player. He would have voted no. That's new perspective for me. So I saw, Mike, just a little background. I saw a little article of Nate Solder, who's now the Giants. He's a former first-round pick from the Patriots. He pulled a few minimum players from his current team who said, would you exchange these added benefits both now and later for a 17th game? And I guess some of all of them that he surveyed said yes. So he, as a player rep, voted for the deal. So that was the last thing I read. So maybe I was a little clouded by that, but I was. And it's worth noting that core players, as they call it, those that make the minimum, account for about 60% of the league. So that, in case you're wondering, that minimum would increase by $100,000. But you're saying, Mike, the risk does not outweigh the reward, or the risk does outweigh the reward.
Yeah, it's $100,000 that's going to be taxed at like 48%, so you're going to get $50,000. If your team makes the playoffs as is, you're already going to make that anyways. You're going to get a $25,000 playoff check first round, and then a $50,000 one second round. Guys know that there's a lot of other ways to make money. Older guys do. Young guys don't. Young guys, those same young guys who are for it probably don't understand that if there is a lockout in 2021, that they're still going to get paid $250,000 cash and get their Madden checks, which amounts to $60,000, $30,000 after taxes. They're all worried that if there's a lockout, they're not going to have any money because they don't have a big savings. But, you know, that's the thing is, like, the NFLPA, D. Smith, the guys who are in charge, like, they don't do a good job of informing guys about this. A lot of guys don't know their rights. They don't know anything. They throw these guys in a meeting with the NFLPA after a 12-hour day of football when they're just ready to go get home. They're walking out the doors, and someone from operations goes, oh, hey, by the way, you guys got an NFLPA meeting upstairs, hour and a half long, have fun.
Well, you're already checked out.
Yeah, like these guys, like these young guys don't know. They don't know shit, quite frankly. Like, they don't know anything about what's going on. Most of them don't even listen when they're in those meetings. Guys are just sitting there looking on their phones, like, you know what I mean? Like,
sure.
And that's why you get the guys like, you know, the Russell Wilsons and the Aaron Rodgers and those guys who have been in it. They know what it is. They really know the league for what it is. They've made the league work for them. You know what I mean? They're not working for the league works for them.
Sure.
Like, those are the kind of guys who are well informed and know what's going on and who are really should be the voice.
All right, I dig it, man. Thanks for the knowledge.
I mean, you know, they really want to like bargain with for a new CBA and they want to do things like that. Then why not give like players lifetime health care after they're done? Things like that, like that whole 1.5% or whatever it is increase in revenue. Why not take $1 million from each owner per year and put that towards former player health benefits? Like, that's something they could do, because right now players have 5 years post-career and then they're on your own.
That's crazy. That's outrageous for the amount of risk you guys take.
Yeah, not to mention the thing about, like, I mean, the crazy thing is like 100% of players are like injured, messed up in some way after they get done. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, and look at like the amount of suicides and things like that. You know, CTE, all the things with brain trauma, and you got guys out here who don't even have health insurance. Old guys who played back in the day, who are in group chats looking for $1,800 to get an electric wheelchair because they don't have money for it.
That's outrageous.
Like these are just things that I've seen firsthand. You know what I mean? It's
Jesus.
like, yeah, you really care about the players. Here's some things that you can bargain on. Yeah, well, yeah. So that's just you know, some of the, like some things that I've seen firsthand, where it's like, you know, you have these guys who, you know, risk it all just to play this game, and you know, like, yeah, a lot of us at the time are young and we're not thinking about what the impact's going to be on our bodies, on our brains, things like that. And you know, guys don't even have lifetime health care, and they're stuck in situations like that.
And that was at a time when there wasn't even the same amount of information. Like, people were using their helmets as weapons then. At least now there's some level where you can provide education, but yet the people from the past just say, oh, you know what, you're good, right?
Oh yeah, exactly. I mean, like, even with you know, with all the new information and the technology with helmets and things like that, it's like the players now are bigger, faster, stronger, and all that. So I mean, like, you know, there's always that balance. It's always still going to be just as dangerous.
Absolutely.
That risk is never going to be eliminated. That's just the nature of the game that we play. And you know, as players, we know that, but it's just no one had ever seen really the long-term effects and had been able to study them until now.
Well, thanks for the knowledge, man. Let's move on to, I want to get your thoughts on, give me a yeah, fam, or nah about the XFL. You know, you made it to the highest level. What are your thoughts on another pro league? Is it sustainable? Give me your rundown here.
Man, I like the XFL. I think it's a cool thing. I think the fact that they're still on major TV, no other alternative league's been able to do that. So I think it's a good show. It's a good sign for them. I think it gives a lot of guys an opportunity to just have some exposure. And I think with a possible lockout looming, their timing probably couldn't be better.
It's a great point.
I think, you know, whereas we saw replacement players back in the day and things like that, I think if you could get a couple big guys to sign in the XFL, or just a couple young guys to sign in the XFL, you know, they're going to fill seats in the stands and stuff like that. I think we've already seen that evidence, and especially if the NFL guys aren't playing, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if you saw a bunch of NFL guys going to watch XFL guys to, you know, support their young guys or dudes they played with in college, things like that.
Yeah, for sure. I know they've already been pros that have been watching. You know, like Patrick Mahomes is tweeting about the XFL every weekend they play, so it's definitely a good sign for them. Do you think, what about this? Do you think we'll ever see, if the XFL lasts, do you ever see maybe a top high school recruit or a person who maybe gets kicked out of school go the XFL route until they get to the NFL instead? You know, kind of like the NBA has, you could go play overseas or play in the G League while you're doing your 1 year away from high school.
Man, it's a great question. I think with it being here in America, you probably could see that happen. I always kind of wondered why guys didn't do that with the CFL more. I mean, there's a few guys who've done it, but not too many. So I think with it being a domestic league and stuff like that, the possibility of that would be pretty good, and especially with them getting a chance to play with some guys who have league experience and all that, it could bring a different. I mean, I would like to see what a top XFL team is like against a top college team, what that skill level is like.
Right.
You know what I mean? And see how that would translate for a young guy coming out of high school.
All right, so I got one more for you, and yeah, fam or nah, before we move on to You Played Yourself. And I wanted to get your quick thoughts. Ryan Day just signed a 3-year contract extension to remain Ohio State's football coach through 2026. Day will make $5.375 million in 2020, $6.5 million in 2021, and just over $7.5 million in 2022. This was after he made $4.5 million this past year, before bonuses, that is. So you played and were recruited by Coach Jim Tressel, our guy, Mr. Sweater Vest, beloved in Columbus and beyond. If you were in high school, the 5-star recruit you were, Ryan Day walks in, you playing for him?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, so having a chance to have gotten to know Coach Day a little bit, and just being a former player and getting to see the way he's taken the program and the way that he leads the guys, he honestly reminds me a lot of Coach Tress. A lot like what I would think a young Jim Tressel would be like. He leads with love. He's not a lead with fear guy. And he's made that pretty clear, that he runs things differently than it's been run, and that, it's his way, and that he leads with love, and that he's got faith in the guys, and I really enjoyed that. He's also really opened up the program again for former players, whereas under Coach Meyer, things weren't really like that. As a recruit and a guy being from Columbus, I spent a lot of time at Ohio State watching practices, and the thing to me that I really loved about it, that showed how different Ohio State was than everywhere else, was that there was always former players there. And I don't just mean like young guys. I mean like guys like Jack Tatum, John Hicks. You see a guy like Orlando Pace.
R.I.P. Mr. Hicks, that's for sure.
R.I.P. him and Mr. Tatum. Those guys, like, you get to see those guys up close and personal as a high school kid when you're at practice. Well, like, under Urban, as soon as he came in, like, practices were no longer open to all the former players and stuff like that. And, like, just like the stuff, like, we call it the sacred brotherhood, and just a few elements of that were just kind of lost. And but guys do things their own way in different ways. But I just know that all the old guys, all of us old guys, we really appreciate the way that Coach Day's really made the Woody Hayes feel like home to all of us. Made it known that we're all really appreciated, and that he really likes having us around to be there for those old guys and show them what the tradition's all about.
I dig it, man. That's unique perspective to gain, and it makes me love Coach Day even more. Forget the results this past year. All right, man, so next up is a section I called You Played Yourself. This is where I get to spit out my hot takes and call people out. So if you have anything to add to these, let me know. And then we'll get back to getting your interesting takes, because people don't want to hear my hot takes every week. They probably want to hear from you. So first up, You Played Yourself. Deontay Wilder, he says his legs weren't there after he wore a 40-pound outfit to walk out the ring for his fight against Tyson Fury. You played yourself, Deontay. Come on, man. Even if that were true, you honestly need a better PR team if you think you should be saying that in public.
Oh, man.
Didn't think about how lame it sounds, so for that, whether it's true or not, you played yourself. And especially, there was of course, because the internet's undefeated, Twitter found a clip of him being on the Joe Rogan podcast where he told him that he trains with the 40-pound vest in order to activate his quick twitch muscles. Kind of Aki.
Oh, yeah, he definitely played himself. Man, I love
Yes,
the guy. He's an exciting fighter to watch. But, Tyson Fury really, he put the paws on him, man. 7th round knockout.
Yep.
They had to throw the towel in. It was hard watching him get beat like that. You know what I mean? As a Wilder fan, wanting him to land that big right, and just seeing him just get picked apart, as a boxer. It was kind of hard to watch, but you gotta love Tyson Fury. He's just got that. He's got the great, comeback story, and just seeing him, the way he does it as a technician, as a boxer. Not to mention, he's a big, chubby dude, he gets after it.
I know, it's like...
So it's cool, man. Everyone can relate to that guy.
Yes, sir. So Wilder officially exercises right to a rematch, so there will be a part 3. Probably very soon, coming up as soon as they start training for it. So we'll see how that one goes. All right, next up, I try to stay away from this, but people still really hate on LeGod James, as I call him. It's unbelievable to me. This 35-year-old's defying father time. He is tied for the league lead in triple doubles, and he's tied with a 21-year-old in Luka Doncic. So he recently also addressed people who question his mentorship style. He said the following, quote, "Anybody that says that, LeBron, why would he do that while he's playing? It's a sign of weakness. He's buddy-buddy with the guys he's going against. Tell them to kiss my ass. All right? With a smile, too. Appreciate it." End quote. And that's why I call him LeGod James, because if you're still hating at LeBron James at this point, I think it's more of something to do with you than anyone else. But I don't know what to tell you. And also, bonus, you played yourself. LeBron deserves to be in the MVP conversation right now. The same reason Giannis was last year and the same reason Giannis is this year. He needs to be in the conversation, and I think he should be in the lead for it.
Oh, I absolutely agree, man. I mean, look, the guy's 35 years old, giving us 30-point triple-doubles, leading the league in assists. Like, it's unbelievable. He's shooting the ball from damn near half court. I mean, the way that LeBron evolves his game is like nothing that anybody's ever seen. You know what I mean? No one's ever done. Just when you think, oh, Father Time should start ticking and kicking in on him, it's like, nah, man, he just does something else better. And I think it's also a testament when you watch him and Zion going at it, and he's out here high flying, getting after it, still playing back-to-back games. Big minutes, like I said, what's he averaging? Over 25 points a game right now. I mean, it's insane.
It's ridiculous, and I saw some numbers where the Lakers are 29th in offense without him on the floor, and they're second with him, and that tells you everything you need to know about him. So I got one more before I want to give you a chance to maybe give a you played yourself here. So my next one is to Maryland's men's head basketball coach Mark Turgeon. He recently complained about having to play a 9 p.m. away game. He said, quote, "My goal is to be in my driveway before 4:30 a.m. We played a 9 o'clock Eastern game at Minnesota on a weeknight. Makes no sense." End quote. I mean, Mark, it makes no sense that teachers work long hours, spend their own money only to make $50,000 if they're lucky. But, hey, we all want to hear about your complaints while you're earning $2.7 million about your fucking game schedule when everybody has to. And then my head basketball coach, our head basketball coach, Chris Holtman, a couple days later after he played at Nebraska in Lincoln, in his opening statement said, quote, "It was great having a 9 p.m. tip. We could get in there early, and it was great having a 9 p.m. tip," end quote. Sound that petty alert and immediately approve it for my head basketball coach.
Oh, man, yeah, he definitely played himself.
I hate just like, I understand, I'm sympathetic. It's like these are athletes and they're student athletes, but Mark made it about him. If he made it about the student athletes, maybe he wouldn't have been on You Played Yourself, but he wanted to make it about him getting in his driveway as if he was suiting up himself. It's like everybody has to play the 9 p.m. games. It's not unique to you. You're part of this, one of the biggest programs in college basketball. You're going to have to play those. There's no sympathy on this end from a fan's perspective.
I totally know what he's saying, but yeah, nobody cares. You do what you do, and that is what it is. Sometimes you got long nights, and with much given, much is expected. So you just put your head down, go to work, sleep on the plane, man. It's all good. But one thing though about any of those college or pro coaches is it is totally overlooked and totally underestimated how many hours those guys spend at work. A lot of times sleeping at work, not seeing their families, things like that. Never getting to drop their kids off at work or pick them at school or pick them up or even see them. So I get what he's saying, but once again, the general public, nobody cares. And like you said, what about the kids? Make it about them. So Yeah.
So, Mike, if you don't already know, I'm as petty as they come. So, those types of things, while make logical sense, you played yourself is quite ruthless.
What it do, baby? Yeah.
All right, so I wanted to give you a chance. Are you giving a you played yourself to NCAA amateurism? Give me a quick thought. Does it deserve to be on you played yourself? I think I know where you're going.
NCAA amateurism. I think pay the guys, let them make money. You know what I mean? I don't see why, if I'm playing football at Ohio State University and little Billy's mom and dad want me to come to his birthday party and pay me $500 to be there for an hour or two or whatever, I don't see why they shouldn't be able to do that. They can hire Brutus to do it. You know what I mean? So I don't see how that's fair. I don't know why.
Or if you wanted to get a freaking part-time job.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, even that. Which, you know, with all that's demanded of these guys, there's really no time for them to have jobs. And with all, not only with like games and practice schedule, but also what it takes to take care of your body to compete at a level like that. I mean, there's so many ways that a guy or a girl or anyone who is an athlete at any of these universities can make money off their likeness, especially these days with social media. You know, they have a platform, they can be coaches, there's a whole online platform for fitness and coaching and things like that. And so the NCAA is really just holding these kids back, and you know, nothing that they do is really in the best interest of the athlete. And I think that's what it always should be. The NCAA is just a big money machine, and it's I think it's a travesty what they do to guys. You know, they put an asterisk next to my career for things that go along these lines, and you know, I honestly hate them. I hate everything they stand for. I think everybody in there is pretty corrupt, and they gotta get some new leadership and have some new rules implemented.
I hear you, man. And just even down to a smaller example, I think there's been people that do like trick shots, and this play, I think it's a football player, got the level of followers on YouTube to be able to make money, and he had to give that money back.
Yeah,
like
you can't. Yeah, it's incredible.
It's like all the way from your example to that. It's just so outrageous to me.
Or like, why am I not allowed to go to fucking Chipotle and somebody wants to give me a free burrito, man? Like, you kidding me? Like,
exactly.
Kids can literally miss games for taking a free meal from someone.
And some of them don't come from great backgrounds, so that's a big deal to them.
Man, some of them. I mean, you talk about most of them. You know what I mean? Like, the reality of it is a lot of these are young black men. You know what I mean? Young black men from broken homes, from bad neighborhoods, and like that's just, you know, an all popular narrative. You know what I mean? That's who has no control in this society, and it's a sad thing. It's like, just take advantage and take advantage and take advantage, and let these kids win.
Yeah, so ultimate and forever, you played yourself to NCAA and their amateurism and their dated ass policies and management, all that shit.
All that shit, played yourself.
Played yourself big time. All right, now it's time for Who You Got and What You Feeling. It's our time to make some picks and tell me what you're feeling from this past week or whenever you want to do. So last week, me and my guest Grant talked about teams to watch as we approach March Madness. Oh, that's another connection at amateurism. You couldn't even join a bracket pool. Forget that, right?
Yeah.
A simple ass bracket pool, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. You can't join a bracket pool that makes money. Yeah, you could join a free one, but I mean, like, you know, who the fuck's filling out brackets for free? You know, everybody's filling out to win. But yeah, man, it's pretty crazy.
So we also made a pick. We've been doing XFL picks because we can't get enough of football right now. So we picked the LA Wildcats at New York Guardians. I picked the Guardians and under, so the over-under was at 40.5, and I picked the Guardians to win. LA was favored by 7. I'm just here to let you guys know I'm your new XFL pick expert because I got both things right. My dude Grant got the under right, but he picked the wrong team. So tell your friends all your XFL needs. I got you. All right, and this week I wanted to make it a little different since we have you, a special guest. I know you're my guy, so probably weird me calling you special guest, but It is special for listeners, so I want to say again, I appreciate you. But if you'll indulge me this week, I wanted to go rapid fire with you, and you give me some quick answers, maybe elaborate on some, whatever you want to do. But I'll just go down the list. Is that cool with you?
Cool.
All right. So, biggest misconception fans have about athletes. What is the thing we least understand that you wish everyone knew?
That all athletes are rich.
Okay.
A lot of these guys, a lot of people just don't understand, how short the average careers are and things like that, and how much money a majority of the guys make.
Hey, good to know. All right. Favorite moment.
Favorite moment in sports. My favorite college bowl game, the Sugar Bowl. It was kind of like one of those fuck the NCAA games for us. 2010 against Arkansas. Coming out of our own end zone, put my hand in the ground for a three-point stance, and I could feel the ground shaking. Favorite NFL moment. My first game was Peyton Manning's first game as a Bronco. Nighttime, Steelers versus Broncos. After they had them and Tim Tebow had beat us the year before in the playoffs, so it was rocking in there. That was
Least favorite moment.
Oh, least favorite moment. Playing against the Browns. I think it was week 11 as a rookie. If you remember, Phil Taylor, really, really big guy.
Yep, number 98.
Yep, I'm blocking Jabal Sheard. Phil Taylor's on the other side of the line going against someone else. He beats him, sacks Charlie Batch, falls in the back of my legs, blows my ankle out. One of the most painful moments I've had on the field. Don't like that. Least favorite moment.
Can you still feel that ankle to this day?
Man, I got bone spurs, no tendons. Like, it's all messed up. Yeah, I feel it.
That's a big boy to fall on.
Oh, yeah, 350 with another human in his arms.
That's brutal. Do you have any regrets?
Me? Hell no, man. I kind of just live life the way I like to live it all the time. I try to treat people the way I'd like to be treated and be positive, be a light for people, and just, keep it moving.
All right. What is a time or instance like you made it, or like you really sat back and like, wow, that's crazy?
Honestly, just about a week ago, I was, I'm a yoga teacher by trade now. I was in Tulum, Mexico on, I guess what is considered a work trip, teacher training trip. And I was sitting in a hammock on the beach, watching the sunrise, and I was just sitting there like, man, this is my life now. And I never in a million years would have thought that would be it. And it's been a blessing to be able to help people and to be able to just really have an impact on people's lives, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. And I'm just really appreciative of it.
That kind of answered my what's next in your life. True yoga teacher, hit my guy up if you're in his area. Learn a lot, become a better human, a better yogi. Is that what you call?
Oh yeah, yogi person, whatever you like.
All right.
Yeah, I've got some big things coming in those regards. Gonna be traveling around, teaching a little bit, but gonna be launching my own particular yoga brand. Some online videos that everybody can subscribe to, practice at home. I know it's kind of hard for some people to get time to get out of the house, away from the kids, things like that. So just trying to make those things a little bit more accessible, and just trying to spread the love, spread the practice, and all those.
All right. Okay, so I was curious about this, and from a fan's perspective. What do athletes get provided to them, like in terms of clothing, food, equipment? Like, give me a quick breakdown, college and pro. Like, you guys have all that cool gear. You guys get gifted that? Like, is there a magic room where you get to go get what you want? Like, what's the deal there?
So things are a lot different in college than when I played with the equipment stuff. When I was in school, we had had an equipment manager who was pretty stingy. He didn't hand out much stuff. The football team got the least amount of stuff out of all the athletes, which is crazy. We didn't even have book bags with our numbers on them. But no, now like they've got some guys in there who are awesome. They get all this crazy gear, dope shoes, and yes, there's a magical room, the equipment room. You go in, the walls open up literally. Each row is like electronic. It opens up. There's just head to toe shoes and clothes, hoodies, sweatpants, socks, gloves, everything. So as a player, you're pretty much, you get like all the workout gear, you know, that you can need, and then you get like sweatsuits and things like that to travel in, and you know, so you guys all look, you know, good, like when you go visit kids in hospitals and things
Sure.
and things like that, you know, that you look professional, you know, so you get all that stuff, and then you know, one thing that I think is really cool is like when guys come up from the South and they don't have winter coats, you know, I mean, how are you going to tell a guy to go buy a $200 winter coat? So I know that a lot of teams provide athletes with like winter coats, like Ohio State winter jackets and things like that. So that's pretty dope. And as a pro, man, you pretty much in the equipment room get all the cleats and shoes, whatever you want. You know, same thing as college. But it's kind of different for each guy because you have individual shoe contracts and things of that sort. So when I was playing, I had a shoe contract with Nike.
I've always wondered that. All right, so since we talked about the Combine, a couple quick ones. Who should Washington select at number 2? We're thinking Joe Burrow at 1, Cincinnati. Who should they take at 2?
I mean, if I'm number 1, I'm taking Chase Young. Or I'm trading that pick and getting a quarterback.
I agree with you 100%. The Predator, man.
Yeah, I mean, he's like, you've never seen anything like him. You know what I mean? He's unreal.
He's a freak of nature. Like, he didn't do anything at the Combine. He got the workout gear, and that was enough. Like, he wore the cutoff hoodie. I was like, oh yeah, good enough for me.
Yeah, and then you just look at the success of the guys in his position before him. You know, the Bosa's and Tyquan Lewis and, you know, all those guys, like, and he's the best one out of all of them.
Jalen Holmes, like, the list goes on and on.
Yeah, it's unreal. Larry Johnson does like an incredible job with those guys. He's a hell of a coach. His pedigree, the guys that have come from him, from Penn State and here, all those, like, it's unreal. So just to think that anybody would even pass up on a guy like Chase Young, who's the biggest physical freak, athletic freak that I've ever seen, I think is pretty crazy.
So from our perspective, from a learning curve standpoint, is defensive line, like, can it transfer pretty quick? Is he going to pick up really quickly from college to pros?
Yeah, I mean, definitely, especially at the position that he is. I mean, you know, he's an edge guy. You know,
just go get the quarterback.
Yeah, and he's a big athlete. You know, I mean, he's great against the run. With guys like that, if they have exceptional hand usage and things like that, like, I mean, it's not that like a D lineman translates easy. It's that he's so good at what he does that there's not really a way that it doesn't translate, because he plays at a level that's so much higher than everyone else. Like when it comes to the fine skill and technique with the hands and feet and how to use that and how to use leverage and be such a big guy, that there's not really any question to how it translates. You know what I mean?
All right, man. Okay, so last but not least, I think I have an idea, but what you feeling lately? Like, what you been digging, sports or outside of that?
Personally, I'm just pretty big into the yoga stuff. I train a group of offensive linemen for pro day and stuff like
dope.
that here in Newcastle, PA. So I get my football fix in for like 8 weeks doing that, but I'm really just into the yoga stuff, man. Just trying to help as many people I can. You know, I come in contact with so many more people a day who I can really make an impact on and help physically and mentally. And, you know, being a guy who's had a number of surgeries and been through quite a bit, you know what I mean, in life off the field. It's really a great opportunity to be able to give back this way. You know, I definitely had a great opportunity to help people while playing football, and you know, the way people rally around sports in this country and things like that. But for me, it's just really a true blessing to be able to be hands-on with people every day, helping them better themselves, and you know, work past things in their life, and that's just where I'm at.
I dig it, man. And I'm feeling getting to do this with you. I appreciate your time here, taking time out in your busy schedule and helping old Cells brethren out. I like to end each podcast episode with my 2 much sense. I love giving advice. It's usually more than my 2 cents worth. So my 2 much sense for this week is a PSA, and that's, if you can't be genuinely happy for people's successes around you because you compare it to your own status, it's time to reevaluate. Good doesn't come back around to people who can't be happy when good happens to their loved ones. So in my 2 much sense for this week is to enjoy other people's wins, make them your own, be happy for them, because it's much nicer when a win happens to you and people are genuinely happy for you back.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. I love that. Be genuine. Be a light for people, lead with love, and you know, be the change you wish to see in the world.
Amen. Like my guy Mike just said, thank you for tuning in to, this was episode 69. Nice. Of Prem Brulee, the number 1 podcast in your headphones. I appreciate all you listeners. You know the drill. And Mike, my guy, I really appreciate you being on. Hopefully this won't be the last time. Loved getting to talk to you, so I appreciate you so much.
Absolutely, man. Thanks for having me, P.